All right, I think we're live. Welcome to Friday Night Strike, where we just kind of hang out. Again, I'm not sending out any links tonight. I'm just putting the link out there for everyone if they want to jump in. So leave that as it may. So anyone that wants to jump in and hang out, they're more than welcome to. Who we have out there? We have George. Says he sat in the front row seats. We got Bradley Tannenhill saying Happy Friday, Night Strike, and everyone. Who else? That's all we got. So, yeah. I don't know what everybody else is doing. Yeah. So. Black Cat, don't call me Jonas on my own damn channel. Otherwise, I will punch you. I'm not gonna, tiptoe around that. Scott's out there. I'm not kidding, Black Cat. I'm not in the mood for it tonight. So. Let's see here. Scott hasn't posted any new things in the chat, so there you go. Not really. I really don't love you at all, Black Cat. No. I think on the scale of love, I think I might love Tactical Pocket Dog more than you. And I don't even like that dog.
What's going on, Night Strike?
Nothing. What's going on, George?
Not much, man. Just here.
Yeah. Okay.
Recovering from being sick.
Patriot in the Dark says, "Good evening, gentlemen. So where is the dancing sandwiches? I demand to be entertained." Well,
dancing sandwiches.
Let's go
to the lobby. Let's go to the lobby.
There we go.
All right, go ahead. Dancing sandwiches.
Yeah, my audio is always taking a shit.
Oh boy.
So.
Yeah, I'm just watching a documentary on After Flash. It's supposed to be like a documentary on Sam Jones when he did Flash Gordon, like what his life was after Flash Gordon and stuff. And you learn a lot of stuff that you don't hear about. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pretty good documentary.
Yeah, the audio's got to take a shit because it always does. So.
Oh man, that sucks.
Well, I don't have enough money to get new equipment. Everybody says when you're fixing your equipment, it's like I'm not. So.
Yeah, you got to work with you got to work with what you got.
I have to work with what I had because I don't have the money to go. I'm not lucky enough like Squib to just charge everything on the credit card and just wait for the payments to come in.
Oh shit! Really? Dang. Yeah, no, man. Because then I mean, as long as you know that you're going to get money or something, you can probably do that. But then what happens if you don't? And then you're stuck with the bills, and how are you going to pay that off? I can understand that, not get into debt.
Yeah, So apparently Clover did a breaking news a few hours ago, HB 1927. I guess they're getting it through the committee. So Texas is on its way.
Cool. Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's not. Yeah, he's a gun guy, but he has certain views. I like
the problem is in the United States and gun culture itself, And I mean, this includes everyone who owns a gun. This doesn't mean just, the guys who shoot on every day at Sunday at the range. Gun culture itself, everyone that owns a firearm in the United States. Okay, this is going to be a blanket statement. But did you know that not everybody that owns a gun in the country is super pro-gun?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Like
they don't believe. Not everyone that owns a gun in this country believes in the Constitution either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I got two people that I know that they love guns and stuff, but they believe that there should be some checks and balances. And I'm like, well, that if you do that, it's going to hinder us and stuff. I said, well, one buddy of mine, he doesn't mind owning guns and buying this and buying that, but he if he sees somebody else, like, I don't think he should have a gun. I don't believe he should have the right to. Well, then, you know what, dude, you got to think something right, because everybody should have the right to own a gun, even if your neighbor is an asshole. I mean, he's an a-hole. He should deserve to buy a gun, unless he's a felon or some shit.
Yeah, and just because you don't like the person or you don't think they should own guns, do you know their whole life story? Do you know whether they're a criminal or not? Do you know their whole background? Yeah. If you don't, I hate to say this, but it's none of your goddamn business.
Mm-hmm. You should only worry about yourself.
Because according to the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Not because Joe Blow, who may own firearms and shoots every Sunday now and then, says that guy down the street, that's his neighbor, he doesn't like, so he shouldn't be able to own the gun. Mm-hmm. That's not what the Constitution says. It's everyone. It doesn't matter what race, what denomination, what religion. It doesn't matter. As long as you're a legal, abiding citizen, the Constitution applies to you.
That's right. It doesn't have any except for your neighbor that's an AO, that he shouldn't have a gun. It doesn't say that. Everyone should have the right to own a gun, whether they want to or not.
Because I'll tell you what, there's probably a few of us in these chats that would say we don't want each other owning guns, but hey, guess what? The Constitution says otherwise, so it's not up to us. It's not up to that guy you were talking to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he needs you next time you talk to him or you hear from him, you need to tell him, okay, go and find your balls, and when you find them, come back and talk to me, because the world is not up to you. It's things are bigger than just what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. It's like when they first started doing these 3.5 triggers, the real light triggers and stuff, that you were able to shoot faster and stuff, or do a double tap real quick and stuff. And this other guy that I know, he's out there, civilians shouldn't be have access to those kind of triggers. I said, well, why not? Well, and he's just saying that it's just not right. It's just, dude, you can fire as fast as you can, either bump firing or just your finger alone, and so this wouldn't do anything, I mean, if you're afraid that it's going to fall in in the wrong hands, the criminals are going to do whatever they can to modify their rifle to do, or pistol to do anything, to shoot faster or full.
If you're afraid it's going to fall into the wrong hands, well, newsflash. Criminals usually get their guns from stealing from people like you because you're ignorant. 2, they steal them from law enforcement. Or 3, they get them on the black market from probably some shady arms dealer.
Yeah.
And I'm just generalizing it, because I actually don't know how it is, because I'm not a criminal, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, criminal is not going to go to the local rifle, pistol store and buy a rifle or a pistol and stuff and use it for criminal, activities, because it all tracks to him. That's why they buy guns from people, like gangs or black market or anybody, they steal them. So that way they can use the gun for whatever, and then they ditch it and they get another one and stuff. So they can't get it, traced to them, and a lot of people think that, no, you're buying guns to this, it's going to fall in the criminal hands. Well, if you keep your handgun or rifle secured, put away, they won't get to it. You find nifty places to put a locker. Like if you get a safe, right, or even those they call them gun lockers, cabinets, metal cabinets. That they're like a low security type of safe. Well, you can put them like in a secure area. You can make like a false wall or something. You can always put it in a secure room where you can put have deadbolts and all kind of stuff. Any kind of securities which will prevent anybody from getting it. And when people who worry about you owning a gun, that it's going to fall in the wrong hands, somebody's going to steal from you, and I was like, no, you're not. It's not going to happen, because you're going to do all what you can to keep that from happening. So I don't know. I know these guys have their own ideas and stuff, how things should happen, but they don't think in the long way. Like that one friend that I was telling you about the triggers. Well, he lives in Virginia. He used to live in my town, but he moved away and stuff. He was all like, oh, they need to do this and that and this. Well, okay. And then like last year, I think Virginia was like saying, if you have a 30-round mag and you don't, something like that, you don't destroy it, or they were going to become felons. So he's out there crying, I might be a felon tomorrow because I have 30-round mags and this and that. I'm like, well, duh, dude. That's why we tell you need to, rally, go to rally, vote better and stuff like that,
and do what Two Live Moose says: eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken. There you go. But like I said, sometimes these people that want that, okay, if they let me have my gun or my weapons, maybe we should give some liberties, You know how
Gizzard Gary says, tells everyone to give him the bird.
Give him the bird.
Right.
That's what they do.
Right. Two Live Moves is give him the hoof.
Give him the hoof. There you go. And it's just that.
Or I think it's just hoof it. One of the two.
Hoof it. Yeah, that's why sometimes I talk to people that are that they have their own ideas, like, oh yeah, you need to do this and that, and maybe if we give up some liberties, they'll ease up on us. Like, no,
they'll never ease up. This is going to be a constant battle until either those people get so old they die and people don't buy into their bullshit anymore, or until they become felons themselves. And at that point, then their whole argument's mute.
Yeah. And as I said, me and my brother used to talk to this guy, and he was the one crying that, oh my God, the laws here in Virginia are going to change. And
the laws aren't going to change in Virginia unless, you get Republicans in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it like that because, people say, well, Republicans aren't really, pro-2A. Well, they're more pro-2A than the Democrats that have been voted in lately.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you're right. The Republicans aren't very, pro-2A either. No, it's true. But the problem is, as far as your local state legislator, you got asshole A who's trying to take everything away from you, or asshole B who is taking the opposite side. He may not believe everything that he's, campaigning for, but at least, he believes at least, if you're lucky, about quarter to half of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're stuck with. And it sucks, but, good luck trying to get another party that's full 100% pro-gun, voted in, because unless you're a Republican or Democrat, you ain't getting voted.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I mean, we haven't had, a different party voted in as president since what? It's been 200 years?
Yeah.
The last was the Whig Party or something? Or a different party? Either way. But that's that. Yes, I know that's the presidency, and yet we're talking local. But again, with local government, the best you're going to get is you might be able to get an independent, and you might be able to sway him 100, at least 50% to the two-way side. But when it comes to when it comes to, lesser of two evils, go with the one who's opposite the one that's trying to take everything away. Because that's basically what we're stuck with. I mean, if you want to get someone elected that's not going to take everything away, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, and it sucks to say this, and I hate saying this because I really would like to see a real, true libertarian in charge. Not one that cries and complains about how taxation is theft and we should smoke pot every Sunday or something. A real goddamn libertarian like Barry Goldwater. Okay, a real one. Not this, bullshit that, let's elect Gary Johnson. He's totally libertarian. He's a pot-smoking liberal. Yeah, I said it. Pot-smoking liberal. There you go. You're welcome.
You heard it here first, folks.
Or, who did they try and field last time? What was it? Jill Stein?
Ugh.
I mean, who the hell is she?
I have no idea.
Oh. Oh, it was Joe Jorgensen, I think it was.
Joe Jorgensen.
And honestly, I was pulling for Vermin Supreme. But that's just me. Yes, he was still running.
Yeah, like this. The other guy that lives in my town that I talked to that has these different views. Like we're talking about. He got his license to carry permit, and he believes in carry and conceal. He doesn't like open carry. And I said, well, that's fine. That's good enough for you. But I mean, if you don't want to open carry, that's good, and you can just go ahead and conceal carry. I said, well, then all these other people I see, and that I see open carry as like, showing how big your cojones is. You're being bravado. You're being, macho and stuff. I said, what?
No. I was like, stop you right there, home fry. If you want to see how big my cojones are, just ask.
Mm-hmm. And okay. I told him,
you just say that. Stop. You want to see how big they are? Just ask. Otherwise, no. It's your right to carry a gun. You're not going to touch it. You're not going to play with it. You're just going to have it on your hip. If anything, it's a deterrent from someone that's going to try and break the law. Now, again, from someone who is basically high off their ass in some sort of drug, they're not going to care. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, period, and they're going to probably get shot for it. But that's how it is.
Yeah, and I've told them that, dude, in my job, I have to open carry. I can't conceal my gun, even if it's
security officer.
Yeah, as in security, And the thing is that when I'm working, it has to be within view. Even if I was working and it was cold weather and stuff, I had a freaking trench coat on and I'm covering my weapon, I can get in trouble. So I have to unsling it. I carry a jacket slot when I had a revolver, when I was carrying a revolver at first.
So does the company let you carry your own gun, or do you have to carry one that is issued by your department?
Well, it depends. It depends on the companies. There are security companies that will maybe they want you to carry their type of weapon and they'll have it, or you have to get your own. So basically, when you start
I've heard
out,
that it's different for different security companies.
Yeah, it's different for security companies. Like for me, when I first started out, I had to buy my own gun. I was like, "What? Oh man, I have to buy my own gun."
What did you carry? What did you have to buy?
My first one was a Rossi 357. My dad bought it for me because at the time I was starting out, and I was kind of like, I didn't have the money for it. And I just wanted a simple 9mm. I would have been fine, but he liked the 357, and I said, okay, I'll carry that. I had an Uncle Mike's nylon holster, and it was not great. A friend of mine gave me this jacket slot Bianchi holster, which was for a revolver, and it fit. So I was like, wow, this is great. Thumb brake holster, jacket slot. So I was able to carry a jacket
or I can sling a trench coat like to have my sidearm, open stuff. It wasn't until later on.
DM Voss, I've seen you on camera. That doesn't count.
So it wasn't until like, I want to say 2010 that I bought the Glock 22, and because a lot of the people were starting to buy 40. So
is that the one that they were telling you had to carry?
Well, they didn't tell me I had to carry, but I bought it because I wanted it. And then, like my boss, which he was the law enforcement at the time, he was carrying one as well, and the lieutenant was carrying his, and then, I think there was a couple other guys that started carrying theirs. So they just said, "What the heck, just get the Glock, And I said, "Okay, fine." So since I bought it, I had to worry about anything else. It was my gun. And stuff like that. But there are other companies that sometimes if you don't have a gun, they'll issue one. Or if you work for like a federal contract at the time, I'm not sure if it's changed, but they only wanted you to use a 38 revolver. So it was kind of like, okay, 38 revolver.
I'm pretty sure, but these days, 38 is like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
As far as caliber, as far as, honestly, I wouldn't be safe with any of my. If I needed security, I wouldn't be safe with security unless they were carrying at least 9mm.
See, and that's the thing.
I'm not a 9mm fan. I'd prefer them to carry 45.
Yeah, and the thing is that as I was saying, you're getting paid $11 an hour.
I'd be okay with 357 SIG though.
357 SIG is great. I shot that before. This is awesome. A friend of mine had I think it was I don't know if it was a Glock 40 or it was actually a 357 SIG. Yeah, it was actually a 357 SIG. And I remember shooting. I said, "Dang, I love the recoil on this, man. It's awesome."
Yeah, that's
it's very unique.
I shot the 40 out of my 229 when I got it, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. So I got the 357 SIG barrel out of it, and I'm like, I like this. It's perfect. It's perfect with the 229's weight.
Mm-hmm.
357 with the 320. The 320 is a little light for it, but I still love the snappiness.
Yeah,
better than what the 40 is. I'll tell you that. But I got the SIGs in 40 just because it was a cheap barrel change.
Yeah,
I really didn't have to do anything other than swap the barrels out, and that And depending on where you find the barrels, you could even before the pandemic times, you could find the barrels anywhere between $60 to $90 for a barrel.
Wow.
I mean, for like a compact or a 229, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, my buddy that picked up the Glock in 357 SIG, he had bought it because I guess he couldn't afford the actual SIG pistol at the time. So he said, "This is the most affordable one," and then. He's a teacher now, so he was like, after a couple years back, he said, "Oh yeah, now I can afford the regular SIG now, so I carry this now instead."
Okay, apparently DJ Plana is saying is when he worked for Pinkertons, we had no armed accounts, but the office had Smith & Wesson revolvers for us to qualify with every year. In the 90s, only the courier companies were armed here: Brinks, Wells Fargo, etc. They're still armed.
Yeah,
the armored trucks, for moving money, they're still armed these days. Gee, yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, I've met a lot of guys that worked like for Pinkerton and G4S. Whack and Hut and all those other companies and stuff. The other thing is that some of them worked unarmed because they didn't want them armed and stuff, and they worked in certain sites. Sometimes usually like hospitals and certain warehouses where they just thought that it was like low level, like, oh, this is not a real high threat. You don't need a gun to, we'll give you a guardhouse and stuff, and you got a phone or something. Like, I don't know. So there's some companies that sometimes, man, especially in spring break, you work in uniform, but you may not even carry handcuffs because they just have you there as a deterrent. And if the real
Honestly, that's not how criminals think. If you are unarmed security, how criminals see you as just another target.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is that I think it's because they market it as a what would you like? You like unarmed or armed security? Unless it's a place.
There are no guests tonight. Look at the pinned message in the chat. Anybody can jump in. This is George Cortez. Everybody knows him.
Yeah, I think it's just marketed in certain areas. Like when I would work at city contracts, they would want armed security, But if there was something like a small reception hall, they're like, oh, this is a small reception hall. We really don't have any problems. So we can have to get cheaper services, we'll just have them unarmed, or they'll have one armed and one unarmed. They do all kinds of weird stuff just to save a couple bucks, and stuff like that. But in my experience, the best, to have them armed is always great, because even if you don't have any problems, it should be like that. You have a wedding reception. You don't want nobody having fights or nobody starting stupid stuff. So everyone should have a good night and go home.
Hey, check this out. I found the best image.
Why do I have this bag over my head?
That sums it up right there. There we go. I'm sorry, I saw that. There's just like, wow.
That's cool, man. It's funny.
So, were there any other type of guns you had to get, for your job?
And I just got that one. I did get a shotgun a few years back. I got me a Security 320 pump shotgun, pistol grip and stock. And I rarely use that one. I do have it just as a backup. I leave it like in the vehicle and stuff when I go work some sites, or patrol.
DJ Play Nice says, I worked 2 accounts where it would have been good. AT&T's huge facility and the water treatment plant for the city. The pay difference was $5 an hour for armed. Really? That's it? Mm-hmm. I think they give you guys a little bit more.
Yeah, sometimes, the security business is very hard. If you were thinking to open up a security company tomorrow, you'd be like checking first how many companies are around you within your town or city, I should say, and then above that. Because, like say for me where I live, Brownsville, there's already like so many companies. Then you have companies outside other towns. And then you have companies like in Corpus, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, and they're all trying to get down all the way here. So there's all this competition. So that's why a lot of people start going, well, how do I get there's so many companies. What do I do? Oh, go for the lowest bidder. Lowest bidder is going to save me money. So I'll pick you, and the thing is that sometimes going for the lowest bidder is great because you're paying for so much, right?
Right.
The security company is getting a certain a percentage of the money, and you're paying your officers so much money after that. I mean, depending on how much contracts the company has, you're going to pay you only a certain level. So some people may just like, I'll just show up to work. Oh, I'll work part-time for another company, or I'll do this. So sometimes paying the lowest bidder is the lowest bidder is not the best. You have to really research which company does real good. And sometimes some people don't care, So there's all that competition. So it's really, really hard, That's why some of the people don't get paid as much because there's not enough work. Or they promise that this is a contract, how much the officer is going to get paid. And of course the boss gets, his cut before he gives the rest of the cut to the officers. So sometimes you have to have a lot of contracts so you can like pick up the pay wage a bit,
Right.
So sometimes it's hard, I mean, security could be a great career, could be a good job, but sometimes I tell people it's like a stepping stone. You know, maybe you do security for a couple of years and you say, you know what, I want to study law enforcement. So you go to criminal justice, you know, you study that. And then, hey, well, maybe I'll go to the police academy. And then you get into that. And maybe you get into something, you know, federal, you know, and stuff. So, you know, I had a guy that, you know, he couldn't make enough money because he was working with us, but he wasn't making a lot of money. He had a family to provide. So I told him, hey, dude, I like you to stay because, you know, I trust you, you know, you work good and stuff, but sometimes, you know, the work doesn't work out very well. You know, there's not enough work and sometimes you don't get paid enough and you got
you don't get enough hours, right?
So I told him, he was telling me, well, I'm trying to get my GED and, you know, my family, you know, they work in the county and they want me to become a jailer and that I can be one. You know, I said, well, get your GED. If you want to do that, try that. And if you don't like doing that, you can step into something else, you know. And he's been doing good, you know. To hear from him every now and then and stuff, I always wish him, you know, happy holidays, you know, all this stuff, happy Father's Day and stuff like that, you know, text him and stuff. And he's been doing real good in his job, you know. So I just tell certain people sometimes, you know, you got to just do what you can, you know. And sometimes work gets cut out. I mean, with this dang COVID thing, you know, it started shutting down a lot of places, you know, a lot of people started losing work and, you know, there's not enough hours and stuff and people just start going crazy, you know. And that's why I always say, you know, it's a stepping stone. You need to do other stuff, you know. A friend of mine, he started working with a school district, you know, they had just started their security police services. So he worked there for so many years. He got his, he became a supervisor, sergeant. And from there, you know, he decided to go to the police academy just to get the extra training. You know, he wanted to, you know, to have more training and stuff. And he took that. After so many years and stuff, he got out of that. And he went to work with the city. He was working with the airport and doing security service there. Then
you think they want the airport security armed?
Yeah. See, well, now what they did is Brownsville, what they did is they opened up the police department or city opened up their own security branch. Now, you know, the police department has like their communications, they got their traffic wardens and stuff like that. So they already have a specific uniform.
Ooh.
You know.
Scott says, I used to work with a guy who used to do security at a nuclear power plant. He was making about $80,000 a year.
Wow, yeah. Those are good jobs, man. And those are the ones you don't want to lose.
Those are the ones you want to keep.
Yeah.
But again, you're going to have armed security at nuclear power plants because, right, one wrong, if you don't have armed security, or one wrong move and nuclear materials everywhere.
Yeah. So going back to like saying, so the city decided to have their own security section department, you know, so now my friend went into that. So, and they said, well, you worked at the airport, didn't you? He goes, yeah. Well, we're going to put you there, you know. And so now he works there, checks around all the stuff, you know. They revamped the airport there. They expanded a little and stuff. And like I said, he just picked up, you know, and every now and then he takes, you know, courses and stuff that, you know, can just add to his training folder, you know, like this is what I have. This is my certifications. This is all my stuff. And
also, if he finds a better job, he can take it, you know.
Yeah, if he finds a better job, he can take it. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to get into like administration, you know, become like the you know, chief, you know, of a security, you know, or he can get in law enforcement, but, you know, but security is more thing that he would like to get into, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
So, Ghost Shadow says, I hear they may have openings for armored car drivers in South Africa. Yeah. I don't want to go to South Africa. They speak funny English.
Yeah, they're crazy over there.
Or they don't speak English at all.
Yeah.
Ghost Shadow's being a comedian out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I remember. I can't remember how many.
We saw that video of those two guys from South Africa. I don't know. Was that on Squib's show that we saw that? Or was that Matt's or Honda's? Somebody showed the video of those two guys in South Africa. It's like they didn't, you know, one dude was playing his phone, the other dude was just trying to get away from getting shot at.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just like, get off your phone, dude. You're getting shot at. Either return fire or, look at where you're going. Jesus. Yeah, that's armed security there. So that wasn't military. So it's weird. So, but yeah, hey.
Yeah, so like with you and are you gonna plan to open carry when you get a chance to when it fully goes to into effect?
When it goes into effect, yeah, maybe to like, the local park or something, or when I'm just walking down the street, and then I'll probably just, when I have to go into places that, don't allow for it, I'll just do what I normally do, just stow it in my glove box because because of castle doctrine.
Yeah, and that's what I tell other people, because like soon as open carry happens, there's going to be places going to say, okay, they allowed it, so we're going to have to put a sign.
They have to put signs out. In South Carolina, they have to put a sign out. They can't just put a sticker on the door. It has to be a sign.
Mm-hmm. One of my doctors that offices that I go to, they have a sign in their medical plaza. They'll have the 30-06 that says, okay, no conceal handgun. And then it said, okay, there's 30-07, no open carry. And now I see 30-05, no open rifle carry. I'm kind of like, wow, that's crazy, man. Coming to a medical plaza with say like an AR-15 or a shotgun or something, like.
The problem of those signs. Those signs only tell the criminals where all the easy targets are. Yep,
that's right. See, and that's one thing I always thought. Like, say if it did have like a gun-free zone or something like that, you should have at least armed security, because it's I know it sounds odd, but I mean there should be security protocol
for schools. They used to at least have one armed security officer there just to make sure everything's right, and whether they call him a truant officer or if he's just there for security only,
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that just for all the kids, because people say think of the children. Well, I am thinking of children. I'm not putting children in a building that's not locked at least 8 hours a day and doesn't have any form of defense against someone who's armed.
See, and that's the thing that kind of like drives me nuts when I hear, well, you can't lock a school down. Then it becomes a prison. I'm like, no, it's a school.
No. My response is, have you ever been in a school before? Did you actually go to school? It felt like a prison when I was in class. Don't give me that.
Yeah, they always, locked. They remember
the way they made you stay there and they wouldn't let you leave the room. That's my definition as a prison. If you can't leave the room, that's a prison.
Yeah, and see, and that's what always so crazy. And then when I would hear people say like, well, they got police officers in the schools. Yeah, well, they're carrying a gun. He goes, yeah, because they that's part of their equipment. And it's like, yeah, but what about all those kids? And what do you think is going to happen? You think they're all going to jump on the police officer just to get a weapon? I don't think so. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Shadow says he just got off his phone onto his computer. He's saying at Night Strike, that armored car was a Toyota truck, one of the small ones. Yeah, but it had the armored car attachment on it. So regardless. And then he goes, at Night Strike, I wanted to get one of those belt-fed uppers in pistol length because in Washington you can't have any loaded long guns in a vehicle. I guess that would work. What do you think?
The belt-fed uppers?
A belt-fed pistol upper.
Oh, okay. Oh, pistol upper. Okay.
You see where he's going with that?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get that, I mean, go for it. I haven't seen anyone that makes that, but that'd be something interesting to get.
Yeah, I'm going to be one of those anti-gun. Stop finding loopholes.
Right?
It's like every time, California. Okay, you can't have a bullet button. But if you have this little magnetic device, it helps you take out the mag, and stuff. So you don't have to worry about the bullet button, very well. And they say, well, that's finding a loophole. No, it's complying with the law. They were like, they said that they had that thing where you have to pull the rear pin of the AR, so you can open the upper and it releases the mag when you want to change mags.
Yeah,
right?
that's the new one, right?
Yeah. So it's like you're firing the gun. It said, okay, I'm going to change mag. Pull the rear pin. The top upper, goes forward. You can pull out the mag now. You can put a new mag in, and then you have to close it. Put the pin back. Well, they had made this little attachment that you had like a little ring that it would pull. It would pull what they call. I think you could pull the ring, the pin, and then the forward upper would go forward, and you can change the mag quick. And people would get pissed off saying that, why you guys keep finding loopholes in those laws and those gun laws that we assign and stuff. I said, it's complying with the law. It's
because
not
we can. Because we can.
It just cracks me up when people say that stuff. It's kind of like,
why are you finding loopholes? Because we can.
It just
why do you find loopholes in court cases? Because you can.
Yeah.
Because you want to get through. You don't want to have to pay, millions of dollars that you don't need to because there's a loophole.
Yeah. And also using terminology and lying just so they can, so they can win, their agenda.
Go Shadow says that Night Strike Fight Light makes a belt-fed AR upper and have pistol length barrel. All right. Well, there you go. Good luck, Go Shadow. But, I think Mr. FNH says $3K. Now, I bet it's about 5 or 6. I mean, a lot of those belt-fed uppers are ridiculously cost prohibitive. I mean, unless you got $3,000 to $4,000 to burn, then you can get one and have fun. Otherwise, yeah, it's too rich for my blood. I'd rather just have a regular AR or a regular AR pistol upper. I'm not too in with the whole, the belt fed. I'd like to have a belt fed, but the issue is I don't want to pay that amount of money. I don't have that kind of money to burn. So.
Yeah, you're in that.
So, it's just, that's just how it is. All right.
So, do you got anything in article wise for tonight?
No articles tonight. There is one thing that is going on. The ATF has published proposed new receiver definitions and homemade handgun rules, and the FPC is urging everyone to comment. Let me see if I can find the FPC link for everyone so they can take a look at that and go after that, because this is one I don't agree with, because it basically they're trying to rewrite the definition of what a receiver is. And then that's going to include parts, and then you can't get parts sent to your house anymore if it's not a receiver.
Uh-huh.
You see what they're trying to do?
Yeah. Yeah, they're just going to cut off the. Yeah, and then pretty soon, if they say that passes and stuff, then you can't have ammo, you can't have magazines. Everything would have to be bought at the gun store, So there won't be anything that you can buy affordable, because a warehouse that does mail order can sell it cheaper than going to a gun store. People are going to be like, oh, no more. Now nothing can be sent to my house. I have to go buy it, and I have to sign for it, and I have to they're going to keep track of it, and stuff like that. That's all it is.
Yep. Let's see. Grishai says that Mr. FNHF Night Strike sucks that you can't have binary trigger in Washington either. Yeah, it does. It does. So. I guess the link is this right here. I mean, there's the FPC link. I don't know if there's another one. There's another one. Yeah, then that's it. That's the one. The actual comments link. If you want to use the actual ATF website, comment right there. So go and say no against them. If you want it to happen, well, then you want it to happen. And, well, I'm not going to say anything about that other than, that's a real shitty thing to do, but whatever. Otherwise than that, I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go get some food. Dinner's ready. I'm getting yelled at. So I will see you guys later. You guys take it easy. Thanks, Squib, for taking up space in the room. But at least you hung out with us, I guess.
Yeah, you got to hang out with us.
You could join, but then when I joined, you didn't even say hello. So, I mean.
Well, I just kind of expect you guys just to jump in if you have something to say.
Maybe I had nothing to say.
Okay, well then that's okay. That's okay. At least you were here for Squib support. I'm not going to say it's moral support. I'm going to say it's Squib support because you've got your own thing. So, and then George, thanks for jumping in and hanging out.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep. I'll put the links to those two in the description of the video when we're done, so everyone sees that. But go and make sure to tell the ATF that you don't like their new rules definition. I know they're going to ignore us and they're going to do what they're just going to do, and that's all to us. But at least we need to give them comments of why their whole proposed ruling is wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if they don't hear us being unhappy, then I guess they believe they're not doing anything wrong, even if they are doing something wrong. So with that, we'll see you guys later. Take it easy, and shall not be infringed.
Give him the bird.
As Two Live Moose says, give him the hoof.
Give him the hoof.
Or just hoof it.
And for Two Live Moo, we.
Or was it moo?
Moo.
Moo. All right. We'll see you guys later.